Hi, Jordan.
Hello. We're at the Canadian Grand Prix this week.
Are we?
We
Eating
are
some
indeed.
maple syrup.
No, we're not. Would you
Now
rather
watch out for
do
all them moves.
Would you rather do autocross or rival duel?
Rival Jewel.
I don't think we're actually going to be doing this against Lance Stroll, but it's all good either way. Um, yeah, Canada actually is the site of one of my favourite victories in Formula One. It's the
Really?
2011 Canadian Grand Prix had Jenson Button win, despite having been in last place at I think two separate points in the race, having to pit stop like four
Yeah.
times, and he managed to take the lead on the last lap because Sebastian Vettel span out on a corner because of the weather.
He never did.
He did.
That bloody idiot. What's he like?
Well, he was afterwards four-time world champion. So
Oh,
you know,
there you
but
go.
no, it was a really Jensen Button was on the that podcast that I've been listening to.
Yeah.
One of the last episodes I listened to, and he got asked about his favourite races, ones that he was most proud of, and that wasn't on the list. And he got asked about it, and he said, "Well, right up until that last lap, it was actually probably one of my worst races, with all the crashes and the pit stops, and I wasn't really enjoying it all that much. And then it all just seemed to come together at the end. But it did teach me that you
Yes.
don't give up in Formula One.
You don't give up in life.
Well, yeah,
You get back on the horse.
as it were. So yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I think it's a bloody good. I mean, like he says, it was actually quite a shockingly bad race for him, but
Hmm.
it panned out as being one of his most astonishing victories, and that's something to be commended. And I haven't on
Certainly is.
this track here. I have some other Formula One topics today,
Okay.
if you wanted us to go through them.
Yeah, might as well go on.
We oh Christ. There is the fact that I want to know if you can guess how long the longest, or rather
A lot
slowest.
of crypto ads
Where?
all over the Qatar Airways is up now, but there was crypto.com.
Yeah, these are the ones that we have: Salesforce and Zoom and all
Sales
sorts.
force.
I know people who work for Salesforce, or used to at least. I don't know if they still do.
Hmm.
Anyway, I want to know if you can guess how long the longest or slowest, if you would prefer, pit stop in Formula One is.
Um, well, I was going to say something like 7 days, but I'll make it a reasonable guess. Well, they usually happen pretty quick, don't they?
They do usually happen
So
pretty quick.
if we're talking long, it's probably not going to be exceptionally long time-wise. I'm going to guess 15 minutes.
You would be incorrect. Think how many
Higher or lower?
hours.
Oh no, 4 hours.
Even more.
8 hours.
Even more.
9 hours.
This happened at the 2021 Monaco Grand Prix. Valtteri
Yeah.
Bottas was on lap 30 in second place at the time. It was on lap 30,
Hmm.
and one of his tyres wouldn't come off. And they couldn't get the tyre off until 43 hours later. So, as far as Formula One is concerned, that is the longest pit stop in Formula One history, and it retired him from a race. He would have had, I believe, at the time, 18 points for it. At least on current rules, it would have been 18 points for second place, and didn't get any because he had to retire with a wheel that they couldn't change.
What's the shortest?
Sortis is about 1.4, 1.5. It's actually on the same web page that I'm
Hours.
on.
Right.
Oh no, fastest is 1.8. It was a 2023 Qatar, um, and it was beaten by it beat the other one by 0.02 seconds.
Gosh.
So yeah,
But
1.8.
what, 48 hours, did you say?
43 hours and 15 minutes, I think it was. I've closed the page now,
Oh,
but
yeah, I said 15 minutes, didn't I?
yeah, you were just about 43 hours too short. Nearly two
Yeah.
days out. But yeah, I mean that's a crazy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, there's a bunch of bits that they've changed in the rules coming into this year's season that I found out about today. We
Oh, dear.
talked earlier about the weight increase. They're allowed to be fatter now by 2 kilos.
Yes.
But the one that really stuck out to me is that they've taken away the fastest lap point. Oh, that's interesting. It's in the wet. Okay. Yes, they've taken away the fastest lap point, which means that if you are at the moment, or rather last season, if you were in the top 10 and you had the fastest lap of a race, you got 1 point. 1 point isn't a lot, but 1 point over a lot of the races can start adding up to a lot. From now on, that's not going to be the case. They're not going to give you any points for having fastest lap, no matter where you are. So it's one of those interesting little game-changing things that's going to happen. Now, it shouldn't seem like it's that big a deal, but they've had B team members, people like Daniel Ricciardo, for example, on his last race. Oh Christ, this is bad. This is bad. The wet's not good. Intermediates is not good for this. Daniel Ricciardo on his last race took fastest lap, and the idea being, I'm going to restart this because I've screwed that up. Intermediates isn't the right call, I don't think.
Lewis Hamilton restart.
You might have done. I think wets is better. There we go. That's much better. Doesn't necessarily look it from your side of things, but it is. Oh, it's not. It's worse. It's worse. Daniel Ricciardo got fastest lap on his last race in Formula 1. And the idea of it is that it was a nice thing to have on his last race, right? But in reality, what it did was it took a point away from Lando Norris at the time, who was fighting for a championship. And it helped out the sister team to the team that Daniel Ricciardo was in. No, that was the right call originally. Look, we're learning. I've made justified adjustments to the car.
Yeah.
In a real racing situation, they would get 20 minutes or so to get a fastest lap. We only have 1 lap to do it. I'm just choosing not to. I'm choosing to abandon the lap and start again. This is what they would do. They do that all the time. They just have 20 minutes to do it. Oh yeah. They'll say, "Oh no, this lap isn't the one." They'll make changes and make adjustments. Not many adjustments, mind. The key thing is that they can't adjust the car between final qualification and the actual race itself, unless, with the exception of the tyres, they can change the tyres, and if the weather conditions change, they can do a proper setup change. Because if it's a vast weather condition difference, like going from a wet race or a dry race to a wet race, you set up for a wet race, and then if all of a sudden you set up for one and it's suddenly the other, that changes things a lot. It's going to cause accidents if you don't change it. Yeah.
Really?
And the tyres they can always change because you put a fresh set of tyres on for the start of a race no matter what these days, it seems. Yeah. But no, they're the two big changes for increased weight that they're allowed now, and the lack of fastest lap points, which I thought was
Question.
Yeah.
With the tyres, do you have a set number to choose from so everybody has a fair set?
You go into the weekend with the same options available to you, and you have to use, in a dry race, you have to use 2 different tyre types. So what that means is you'll notice from the inside of the tyre rim that they've got different colours on. These were green tyres, as you'll be able to see from the green circle with the eye inside it. They're intermediates.
Right.
Red ones are softs, yellow ones are mediums, and white ones are hards. And you have to use 2 different, they call it compounds, tyre compounds, per dry race. At least 2. If it's a wet race, the rules are a bit different, because the whole point of the intermediate tyre is for when it's wet but not soaked, and wet is for when it's soaked, basically. So it's more weather dependent as to which compound you should use there. But yeah, they all have go into the weekend with the same number of tyres. What they use throughout the course of the weekend defines what they have access to during the race. Because there's 3 practice sessions, 1, 2, and 3. There's the qualification sessions, which technically there's 3 of those, but they're all it's an hour's worth of driving, and you're not driving for an hour. And then you've got the race. Sometimes you've got a sprint race as well. So you've got to, work out what tyres you're using. You want softs ideally, but softs sometimes break too quickly.
Right.
By which I mean they deteriorate, not that they are good at braking.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. They call it tyre degradation.
Yes.
It's one of the things I'm not very good at managing is tyre degradation. We're on the mediums. We're on the mediums. Good. Hamilton's on the hards. Russell's on the hards. So what will happen is they will be able to last longer than we can, and therefore will pit later than us for their 1 pit stop that they have to do. Verstappen, who's on the softs, will go faster, but he won't be able to last as long as us. Which is funny because normally if you're hard, you're already in the mood, right? And soft means you've got a bit of time before you get really going, but opposite in Formula 1 it seems. Well. Typically, the softer the tyre, the faster the car, generally speaking. So you'll get people towards the end of a race, if they're trying to get the fastest lap, which they won't do anymore, because there's no benefit to doing it. If you're trying to get the fastest lap, you'll pit just before, on your penultimate lap, you'll pit and then put soft tyres on. So then you're the fastest you will be all race, because you'll be on fresh, soft tyres with a low fuel load and hopefully clean air in front of you.
Right.
And that's how people tend to... They do it on the penultimate lap, because the lap where you come out of the pits, you will be slower because you'll lose time coming out of the pits.
Right.
And then the first full lap on the new tyres, you'll be faster. All make sense?
Yep. Cracking stuff.
Cool. Any more questions?
No.
Cool. Right, no, this was all on the back of you asking, wasn't it?
I know. You know your stuff.
I try to.
Oh, well, I'm glad you like F1.
Wish you liked it. Then we could laugh at Lance Stroll together and support opposing.
We do.
And then support opposing drivers. And then be like, ooh, yeah, go on.
Oh God, Lance Stroll is the one whose dad owns the thing, isn't he?
Yeah, Aston Martin.
Right. Yeah, I don't like him.
Technically, it was Racing Point, I think, when he bought it, but
from what you've told me, he seems pretty
1,000-to-1 odds of winning the championship.
Nepo baby.
Worse odds than Isaac Hadjar. And he's French, so you know. Anyway.
Yep.
We've got purple sectors, so that's good.
Yep.
Yep.
Would you like a topic, or have you got another F1 thing to do?
No, I'm done on F1 unless something comes up during the race.
Cool. Well, shall we do the big one?
Fastest lap. There's been a big old explosion in Las Vegas, hasn't there, this week?
Well, that wasn't the one I was thinking of.
No, you were thinking about Jimmy Carter having died.
Yeah.
Mr. Peanut.
Yeah. That was sad.
I was mostly indifferent, to be honest with you.
Well, you don't know of him to the extent that I do.
I don't really care.
That's all right. Well, I do.
Well, that's fine. That's what we're talking about. I made a note of it.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter, former US president, died. He was 100 years old. God love him.
Oh, I wonder what did him in.
Well, I sent you that joke.
Yeah, I didn't get it, but it's fine.
Jimmy Carter was attacked by a rabbit in the 70s, famously.
Was he?
Well, not quite famously enough, I suppose. Yeah, he not a great president. The 70s were not a great time to be in power, either here or America, really. But he was a good man, and we will not see his like again, I shouldn't think.
Peanut farmers are few and far between these days.
He had to give up that peanut farm to be president, and he did it. He was very successful at being a peanut farmer.
He had to give it up. Why did he have to give it up? Conflict of interest?
Yeah, he could have passed very peanut-heavy laws.
So hang on a minute. I thought if you've got businesses that could benefit from the laws that you pass, you're meant to give them up, are you?
Well, I think so. I don't know whether you have to or whether it's just
Because
the right
obviously
thing to do.
there's a big old precedent here, isn't there?
Yeah.
When it comes to that, because obviously Trump is a property owner apparently.
I think you can put it in like a trust or something.
No one's got trust in him. Oh wait, no, sorry, I miss. Yeah, my bad. Wrong way round.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are flying around this track. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. He did a lot of charity work in his later years. He helped fight the guinea worm. I think the guinea worm was wiped out because of him, which was a blight of certain parts of Africa.
Oh.
He built homes.
Hmm.
Right into his old age. I don't think any president has had a finer post-presidency. If you're being cynical, you could say, well, maybe he put a lot of effort into his post-presidency because he knew his presidency wouldn't leave him much of a legacy.
Hmm. It's always possible
But,
that you could have that viewpoint.
yeah, definitely had a bit of an ego, but who doesn't?
Well, you have to be if you're president, don't you? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't begrudge you an ego if you're the president. He was just some random governor of a very small, unimportant state,
Idaho,
Georgia.
even worse.
He said, I'm gonna run for president," and he bloody did it.
Well,
So yes, it also means that Bill Clinton is the last living president from the 20th century.
wow. For now,
Yeah.
but not for
He's also
long.
he's also the second youngest.
Oh well, you know, he did get into office young, didn't he?
Yeah, old Lick Willie.
Worth noting, I saw a thing about having flags halfway down the mast or staff or whatever.
Half-mast, yeah.
Yeah, for 30 days or something.
Yeah.
And apparently that's going to trigger Trump, but I mean, I don't know how big a deal that actually is to him.
I shouldn't think he'll say anything.
Well, you don't know him very well.
Well, there was a statement put out from him ostensibly. You know.
Terrible circumstances. We're sorry to be missing President,
Yes,
former President Carter, blah, 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 blah.
Greg Abbott paid condolences to his wife. You may remember Rosalind Carter died months ago, I think.
I can't remember. Probably.
Yeah. God, I remember when he moved to hospice care.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mentioned it when we were doing Left for Dead. You know.
Well, I don't remember every conversation we've ever had.
No, I don't, mercifully. But he hung in a good old while.
Well, you know, 100 years is a respectable amount of time. Cut down in his
Yeah.
prime.
It is. Yeah. You know, every president since Lincoln has been alive at the same time as Herbert Hoover, who was president in the 30s.
Wow,
Yeah, and he died. I think he died in the early 60s. I think.
it's impressive.
So yeah. Yeah, American history's bloody short.
It is. Plus, they keep living for a really long time and electing really old people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they wonder why it's all going to shit.
True that.
You know, get some young blood in there.
Yeah.
We don't do much better over here, to be fair. Wasn't David Cameron the youngest Prime Minister when he got voted in?
Possibly.
Youngest modern day, I don't know about the Pitts. Because there was a Pitt the older and a Pitt the younger, wasn't there?
There was one prime minister, if you go way back, it was like 28 or something.
Yeah, well, that's different, isn't it? When you
Look. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yep. So yes, rest in peace, Jimmy Carter, one of my favourite presidents ever.
Wow.
He was a good man.
At least he hasn't got to go to another bloody inauguration.
I know, right? Well, he did say he wouldn't be able to make Trump's, which is fair enough, really, because it was at death's door. But one interesting thing I noted is that Jimmy Carter lived so long he outlived one of his obituary writers,
Oh, wow.
who died in 2017. So the
Jesus.
obituary I saw had been like written by two people.
That's
So they had
incredible.
one ready to go. Obviously, I'm sure they've got one for basically every major figure.
Yeah.
And then he died in 2017, and somebody else sort of updated it every now and then, I should think.
Well, that's what you do, isn't it? I doubt anyone
Yeah.
who wrote the Queens had, you know,
Well,
knocked it
yeah, I mean
out then.
they were planning that for ages.
Well, I mean, there
Well,
comes a
you know, the
point.
BBC test runs and all of that.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think they
what?
meant the test run they did for the Queen Mother says she died on a fishbone, choking on a fishbone or something.
Wow.
That was their test.
How could you say that without and not keep a straight face?
I know, right? You could just say after a long illness.
Yeah.
And then she died. She was crushed by a comically large anvil.
Space meteorites
Dropped a piano on her head.
slipped down the stairs in a truly banana slip style fashion.
He spontaneously combusted. A terrible
Accidentally fell inside an elephant.
roller skating accident.
Ah, she
Fell into
really
a wood
did love
chipper.
this. She really did love roller disco, didn't she?
Roller skating accident. Fell into a wood chipper. Prince Philip tried valiantly to save her, but to no avail.
Yes.
So
No.
you can see the bucket where they put most of her on the public display, so you can pay your last respects.
Yeah.
He also
Anyhow,
didn't want his funeral, his coffin taken to place of burial via train. Apparently, told someone if you take me, if you move my body via train after I'm dead, I swear to God I will haunt you until you die.
wow.
I don't know why. Somebody suggested it was because he didn't want. He was too humble and he didn't want all the large crowds
Yeah,
that would
that's reasonable.
gather at the side to see him. You know.
I do wonder at what age a public figure has to get before you write the obituary. Do you think it's like 60, 70?
Possibly.
Or do you think
That sounds.
becoming the public figure is what makes them get the obituary?
I don't. It's a good question. I don't know. My suspicion is it depends on how public the figure is.
Hmm.
You know, Prince Queen Elizabeth probably had hers going when she was a princess. You
Yeah,
know,
I suppose.
it's added to her over time. But someone like I don't know Wayne Sleep.
Hmm.
You know, he certainly has one now. I think he's dead, isn't he? Wayne Sleep. I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I think he is.
I suppose
Let's find out.
maybe if you're someone who is like the Queen, they start one off basically from birth, update it every year or two, and then decrease the amount of time between updates as they get older. From like every year to every 6 months to every couple of
That
months.
sort of makes sense.
Because obviously you're
No,
less likely to, and you know
Wayne
unexpected
Wayne
death.
Wayne Sleep is still alive.
I don't know who Wayne Sleep is.
He's a ballet dancer. When do high profile obituaries get written?
Our engine is a bit struggling. Wee. Oh,
Right, how far in advance do newspapers write obituaries? It depends on the person.
obviously.
The vast majority of them are written after somebody dies. News organizations prepare so-called advances in one of three situations, right?
Okay.
First is that the subject is so famous that the paper would be embarrassed not to have an immediate package in the event of an untimely death.
Okay. That's the ones that we're talking about, though, in the first place, isn't it? They're the ones that we're
Yeah.
interested in.
Second, the subject is old or sick. Or the subject is at risk, i.e., they're a drug addict or a stunt biker.
Okay. Ah, yes. The
So,
Queen Mother, very famous stunt biker.
yeah. Yeah, so world leaders would fall into the first one.
Yeah.
The
But, like, there's a
second
lot of
category,
world leaders, and sometimes they change hands fairly quickly. I mean, look at South Korea right now.
second category, the example they give is Ted Kennedy,
Okay.
who was very old. He died. Another figure's over the average life expectancy of 75 or 80.
Okay.
So Pope John Paul II had 2 years. He had one prepared for.
Hmm.
previously. Um, Michael Jackson, he died at 50,
Okay.
but because of his spotty health record, they had one ready to go. And Britney Spears as well, apparently, because she in 2008 she went through some shit,
Yeah.
so they had one ready for her,
Wow.
despite the fact she was only 26.
And of course, famously still alive now.
Hmm. Yeah. So you might do pre-interviews with people before they die.
That's morbid, isn't it?
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Oh, it's got me thinking about the funeral from the IT crowd now.
Yeah, Gerald. Sorry, we'll come on to that. Gerald Ford, when he died in 2006, his obituary writer had been dead for 11 months. So yeah, yes, I would do that for my funeral. I know what you mean, the IT crowd
Hmm.
scene.
Yeah.
I'm planning to anyway.
These, but father, these are our employees. I share everything with those. Right, Douglas. Now that it's just the two of us, let's talk about irregularities in the pension fund. Shut that thing off. I'll always remember. I'll never forget it. It's just a silly little thing. That was my introduction, as I'm sure it was most people's introduction to Matt Berry.
Yes,
And let's be
the
honest,
great Matt Berry. Yeah.
he's a wonderful, wonderful actor.
Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
I haven't. It's on the watch list. I think they finished it now, haven't they? So I'm more
Yes.
inclined to actually watch it now they finished it because I won't have to then catch up again later.
Yeah.
Same argument with Gavin and Stacey now.
Hmm. I rewatched that actually.
Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, because as you know, I've been a bit low recently.
Yep.
And it's one. It's.
Well, you've perked
I
up
like it.
over the last hour.
I have, yeah.
Did the cigarette help?
All those talks about obituaries really brought me out of it. But
Oh, okay.
yes, I find Gavin and Stacey a pretty heartwarming show. I think it's because it's about family and people getting together and enjoying one another's company.
Well, okay. I've barely seen it, so I can't comment properly.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but
What is?
yeah.
Oh, that was tighter than I needed it to be.
Mm. So, like another topic.
Yep. I'm not sure when our pick
Should we-
window is, so
We talked about Wallace and Gromit, didn't we?
we did, yeah.
Last time because it was on at Christmas and I watched it.
I still haven't
Well,
seen
a
it,
new
by the way.
a news story has come out. Netflix executives. I think Netflix.
Ah, flipping Nora.
Yeah, flipping Nora.
Yes.
They thought it was obscene. They queried it because they thought, can we get away with that? Because it was an ad-libbed line apparently.
Hmm.
Like, can you say flipping Nora?
Well, clearly they're not very educated in British linguistics, are they?
Yes, flipping Nora.
Well, you got to wonder how they can possibly in that position to be questioning that sort of thing and not understand British linguistics, considering the fucking subject matter of the program. Like,
Well, you know
you'd
what
think
they're
someone who actually, you'd think it would go through someone who knows the English language, like English.
Well, it's such a. I mean, we're all familiar with it, but if you're an American, I'm sure that. I guess there may well be American phrases that sort of sound like they might be rude and they are. Maybe I don't know.
Cream pies. There's a snack over there, isn't it?
Yes,
And yet for us, it's a dirty sex act.
yes, or a clown thing, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, flipping Nora, obscene. But speaking of Netflix execs, another topic I have. Netflix executives want characters to announce their actions so that viewers who have the show on in the background know what's going on.
Oh Christ! I'm going to stab you now.
Yes.
Stab! 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 It just it wouldn't
Yeah.
it wouldn't work. I can understand it working on like a theatre production as a sort of like you know that the show of errors or whatever it's called, where
Oh, the play where everything goes wrong.
that's the one. Something like that. I can understand it in a style similar to that, where it's intentionally not bad,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
is a bit over the top, isn't it? I could get it for that, but for something like a normal TV show, you'd lose all the suspense.
Yeah, it just sort of. Is there any starker contrast, I wonder, between executives and business people making these creative well, quotation marks, creative decisions, and actual creatives when they announce, you know what, we need more exposition.
Wow.
Like, no, no, we don't need more exposition. Thank you. Pay some fucking attention.
Yeah, I mean that's all it really takes, isn't it? It's for people to pay attention to what's going on.
Or just, I mean, I don't mind having stuff on in the background while I'm doing stuff. I can sort of keep attention on both, but if I miss something, that's on me. It's fine. I'll just
That,
go back.
that's
Stop
what you
pandering
get.
to the morons, please.
Just because everyone's got such a low attention span these days because of bloody TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that bullshit.
Mm,
And that's one of the downsides. I mean, I noticed my attention span being worsened as a result of, or having been worsened as a result of TikTok. But
yeah.
like, I at least acknowledge it, and I can sustain long attention span if I need to. I can do it.
Mm,
I have to think about it. It's harder in conversations with people because I zone out halfway through a conversation a lot, and I don't intend to do it, but I do it,
mm.
and you do it
Mm?
exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So Max Verstappen pit on the on lap 16.
Yeah.
I don't know what tyre he's put on, but he will at the very least be putting on a worse tyre than the one that he had on already. I suspect he's probably putting a hard tyre on, which means that he'll be slower and maybe he won't be able to undercut us.
Mm,
Because that's a technique. I mean, we were 5 seconds ahead of him, so if he can undercut 5 seconds, there's something seriously wrong with my driving, or the hard tyre's too good. In which case, why the fuck weren't we already on it? Yeah. Do you know what the undercut is? Have I explained that before?
oh yes, you went over it. I briefly.
Would you like me to
It's about
re-explain it?
air. No, thank you.
Okay. Not about air, but
Oh,
fine.
is it not
No, not
air
really.
current?
No, not really. I mean, a little bit, but not enough.
Okay, explain it again for me.
Okay, if you pit for new tyres and you're within a certain
Yeah.
distance of the car in front of you, by the time
Yeah.
by doing that lap on newer tyres than your opponent, you will in theory be going faster than your opponent for that lap, and you have a potential to catch up with them, indeed
Right.
overtake them, because they're going slower on older tyres whilst you're going faster on newer tyres. It's called the undercut.
Yeah. But surely they will have gained a decent bit of time while you're getting your tyres changed, right?
Not as much as you'll gain from the faster pace that you're going.
I see.
It's for general gist. Now the undercut time changes depending on track, tyres, driver, all that kind of shit.
Mm.
Generally speaking, within 2 seconds is the expected period of time, and we are ahead of him still. He's 3 cars behind us at the moment.
Yeah, fuck you.
But there's traffic. He's hit traffic, and the 2 cars behind us are going to have to pit. So he
So
will
we're
be.
beating Alonso and the Twink.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, you remembered.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
He's the Twink.
He's from Monaco.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm learning.
You are learning. Although to be fair, I call him a bottom. You call him a twink, but it's the same
I
difference.
know.
Really.
Well, I suppose.
Yeah, Verstappen gained 2 seconds on us in all that, and he had traffic, so maybe it would have been worse if we didn't have traffic.
Yeah.
The trouble with this is it's going to say that we haven't led the race for the whole time, which is true, but it's only because we've pit stopped and these 2 cars in front of us haven't. This doesn't really feel like a fair. Oh my God! Look at that! Lance Stroll's out of the session.
Why is he out of the session?
I don't know, but we're probably going to go past his crashed car shortly. There'll be a yellow sector coming up. Yeah. I suspect sector 2, based on where we were.
Oh, look at that! Your second.
Yeah, but Russell hasn't pitted yet.
You're gaining on him.
I know, but I've got fresher tyres than he has. He's had his tyres on for 18. This will be his 19th lap on these tyres. We're on the same tyres as him, but they're new. We've only had 1 lap on them. So, to be honest with you, we should catch him. Oh God, it was sector 2. I couldn't see him. I could see him on a mini map.
Very barely saw him.
Yeah.
I am actually watching this, you know.
Oh, I'm pleased. Am I
Genuinely.
slowly getting you into it?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I'm learning, and I just enjoy watching you zoom about.
Is my
Oh,
enthusiasm infectious?
a little.
Yeah. That was a good overtake, wasn't
I'm
it?
I'm glad you got something. Yeah, it was.
To be honest, I think it would have been an illegal overtake in proper.
That was very patronising of your man.
Yeah, he is a bit
Well
patronising.
done. That was really good.
What's annoying is he's going to pit now. If you look in the top left, it'll say Russell pit. Yeah, there we go. So we didn't even have to overtake him.
Has Lewis Hamilton pitted?
Yeah, he pit last lap. That's when we overtook him.
So Charles Leclerc, is he now out?
No, he's in the pit.
Right, he's getting his car sorted, is he? Because he crashed.
No, that was Lance Stroll.
No, that was Lance Stroll. Of course.
And Max Verstappen was our real competitor anyway. He was second place when we pitted. But he had already pitted at that point. So he pit a lap before us, well, lap or two before us. He was 5 seconds ahead. Behind us, sorry. And he's now 4.3. But we had a bit of traffic and he had a bit of traffic. This is where it'll even out. I suspect by the time we get to lap 30, we'll be catching up with someone for lapping. Maybe even earlier than that. I can't see anyone in the distance just yet. Yeah, there's no one. Oh shit! No one in the pin, the hairpin. So we'll see. We've got a good lead. I'm taking a few corners a bit bad, but the tyres are new. I need to warm up a little bit. That's my excuse. Have you got another topic, or do you want me to pick one?
Can you pick one?
Yeah. Did you hear about the apprentice sexcapades?
Right. Is this UK or US?
UK, I believe.
Fuck. No, I haven't.
I saw
It's news to me.
on Sunday whilst I was in the town just down the road from here. That sounds like Small Beach.
Yeah.
Whole Beach. I ended up in a co-op there, and I saw a headline about apprentice sex scandal thing going on. This is the TV show of The Apprentice.
I was going to say this isn't just apprentices.
No. So I afterwards, because I didn't want to buy the newspaper and I didn't want to read it there, I thought I'd Google it afterwards. And apparently, rather sensibly, there is a policy in place that people who are taking part in the competition aren't allowed to form physical relationships with other contestants or crew members, which makes sense. I get that, completely understand it. But apparently, two of them have been caught basically half naked in one of them's room.
Uh-oh.
Whilst on holiday in Turkey. Well, not on holiday. On task in Turkey, I think it was.
Gosh.
And obviously, they've been given a bollocking for it. And I just wondered if you... Because obviously you're an Apprentice fan, aren't you? You've watched it sometimes?
I like The Apprentice basically up until Margaret goes. Margaret Mountford, who was one of the Alan Sugar's... I almost called him Ian Sugar. Alan Sugar's advisors. I felt it was stronger in the earlier seasons. They all look the same to me now, all the candidates.
Well,
There's no real
They've done
personality stuff, and Alan Sugar's a knobhead.
It's been overdone, and it's not quite as big a job offer now, is it, as it was back then?
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole thing was, here's this, I guess, fairly well-known entrepreneur. If you win this competition, he'll give you a life-changing job worth 100,000 a year or 250,000 a year. I can't remember.
It's a lot of money.
I mean, The Apprentice is so old now. I remember years ago when I watched the first season, I was shocked that they were smoking indoors. It predates the smoking ban.
Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I am interested in that. Well, I say interested.
I thought it was the first thing I wrote down on my topic list this week because it was a thing that I thought you would either be aware of or have an interest in discussing. But I mean, I don't have a lot more to add on it. Apparently, a bunch of former contestants got married.
Yes, I remember one of the winners got pregnant. Very unfortunately, had I think a miscarriage, but she got pregnant by another contestant.
Not by Neil.
No, no.
And certainly not by Karen.
No, no. One candidate is already called. Amber Rose Badruddin.
For one,
Badroon.
for recent one.
Yes.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
24 was spotted with the unnamed hunk. Yeah, in Turkey, due to the script, no touching policy.
I feel like it's unfair to only name her and not name him.
That's very awkward. Because in the awkward moment, it was revealed that Amber Rose had penned a loved-up letter to a fellow contestant and then proceeded to split up with from her boyfriend and business partner of 4 years, Michael Nugent.
Yeah.
But you can't have known him for that long, you idiot.
Well, you know what people are like. We're 28 seconds ahead of our teammate, Ben. I don't know how shit bloody Lando's doing, but we're showing him up.
Apparently, Karen Brady's grandson went to hospital on Christmas Eve, because that's fucking news, isn't it?
Apparently, yeah.
226 episodes, including 28 specials. 28 specials, Jesus.
Wow.
Fuck me.
No thanks. Are you going to ask what I was doing in Hull Beach?
No.
Okay.
I will now, though. What were you doing in Hull Beach?
I was accompanying my partner while she went to go get a tattoo, and was in turn talking to the tattoo artist who will most likely give me my first tattoo.
Well, I have news on that front as well, but go on.
Well,
Is it well?
Yeah, it went all right. Tattoo went good. Timing's a bit awkward because my son was getting back on Sunday, so I dropped her off, spent some time there, got home so that he could get dropped off with me. Basically, immediately then went back to pick her up so she had a lift home because it being Sunday, buses are a bit shite, and you know, so yeah, I spent a bit of time. He's the bloke that he's having to move studios at the moment, so I'm going to wait until he's settled in at the new place. Maybe wait till January payday, so I've actually got some cash. It's not like it's going to be expensive, my first one, but I'd rather.
How much would it be?
He reckons it's going to cost 40 quid.
All right, that's about where I was thinking. 45 quid, yeah.
So, and technically speaking, I mean, I'm not going to hold her to it, but I did get told a few years back that she would buy me my first tattoo. So, but I'm not going to hold her to it. But if she decides she's going to do that, I'm not going to argue.
So you're getting yourself a little tramp stamp?
It's going to say "Daddy's Little Whore" on it. Only joking.
No, that goes without saying.
Exactly. I don't need to be identified like that. We all know. No. No. I'm still thinking the fox. And I got asked if foxes mean anything to me because I was like, no, I just really like them. That's it. I just really like them. That's why my partner's got the spider tattoo on her shoulder that she had done while she was there. It's like, it's not because they mean anything. She just really likes them.
Well, speaking of animal tattoos, I've been giving it some thought, and I've spoken about wanting a tattoo at some point, haven't I? Well, my big issue was finding something that I actually wanted.
Yeah, that's why I've left it for as long as I have.
Yeah, it's a big decision.
Yeah.
But it occurred to me that I think I know what I want now.
Is it a penguin?
I think it's a penguin.
How did I know that?
Because they're my favourite animal, aren't
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if we talked about this or not before, but I came to the conclusion that penguins and foxes are basically opposite animals.
Go on.
Okay, so if you sum it up a little bit, a fox is effectively a cat dog, right?
And a penguin is a bird fish.
A bird fish, absolutely.
Okay.
Like if you really boil it down, they're basically opposite animals. I mean, they're not, but like they are, aren't they?
Okay, so a bird is the opposite of a dog, and the fish is an opposite of a cat.
Well, either or, really.
Water and sky, ostensibly, and to land, I guess.
Yeah. So
you
you sort of get my logic, right?
Yeah, I thought about it. I do bloody love penguins. I've always loved penguins, and they're a proud animal that deals. They live on the most inhospitable place on earth with great resilience
What, they're in a
and
hole?
you and bloody hell.
Actually, there are penguins in Hull, to be fair. They have penguins at the deep.
All
Because I've seen them.
right.
Poor bastards.
I've been to the deep as well. Um, yes, I just it's sort of symbolic as well.
Hmm.
So yes, I think this year I'm gonna look into getting a nice little penguin tattoo.
But it's very possible I'll
So
be
what?
booked in before the end of this month. Not necessarily have it done by before the end of the month, but booked in.
What's the process? Do you have like a consultation?
Well, we had a chat whilst he was doing her tattoo, and and I saw him tattooing her. I don't know really. I've added him on Facebook so we can message, but like I say, I'm waiting. He reckons it's going to take like 2 weeks before his license transfers over to the new place. So I'm not going to stress him. I'm going to let him get settled and move everything across and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
He seems a nice enough fellow as well, which is good.
Yeah,
There's a very
I think maybe I'll.
possible chance that he's listening to this because obviously now we've got him on Facebook. You never know what he might find through there.
Oh no.
So hi if you are. Can't wait. I'm excited, but also a bit nervous still because needles.
Well, it should be fine. My sister got a tattoo on her hand, and she said it felt very comfortable. She liked the experience.
Yeah, some people do, don't they? But like I say, I'm not a big needle guy. I'm not.
Mm.
But when I had my first COVID jab, I did swear it. I apologised, but I did swear at the nurse.
Mm.
Like, it's not because it's her, it's just because it's needles. And I said in advance, I really don't like needles, and I'm sorry if I swear. And then I swore, and I apologised again afterwards.
Mm.
I feel like I covered myself there. I feel bad about it still now, even though the circumstances sort of warrant it.
I guess.
And it wasn't like, oh, you fucking bitch. It was like, oh, you fucker. You know.
Well, I just sort of focus on a spot on the wall.
Yeah. We might lap someone. I saw some people last lap on the mini map.
Mm.
So, we might lap some. This is a real indicator as to whether we're going to lap them. Is if I think I pulled away, But I suppose our tired egg is going to be higher, potentially than theirs because they might have lapped the pit later. I don't know. Either way, we're 7 seconds ahead now.
Well, I shall look into tattoos for my birthday.
Yeah. I'm keen to have mine done before the end of February.
Why?
Because if I deliberate, if I put it off, I'll keep putting it off.
Well, you'll have to send me a picture.
Yeah, I'm sure I can.
Like realistic style or
no,
or
I did send you a picture of what other sort of thing I'm thinking already.
Yeah, you did. It was that. Yeah.
There it is. There they are. No, I'm not going to lap them before the end of this race. That's not going to happen. The thing that's the biggest question at the moment is which direction it is. Because the key thing is that it's for me, right? So as far as I'm concerned, if it's on my forearm, is it the forearm, the bit between your elbow and your hand?
Forearm, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the bicep, isn't it?
Yeah.
The forearm, if it's on there, on the inside of my forearm, do I have the head at wrist end or do I have the head at the elbow end? And the way I see it, go ahead.
No, go on. You finish.
The way I see it, if it's for me and for me to look at, for me to enjoy, the head should be at the wrist end, and the butt at the elbow end. But apparently that's upside down.
Is the argument there that it should be orientated to you?
It should be orientated to gravity, is the apparent logic that people will have. Apparently it's the sort of thing where if people see it, they'll be like, oh, you've got it upside down. Now, I don't necessarily care.
Hang on. Do you mean if you held your arms out in front of you with your palms facing up, this fox would be facing your hand or your
No.
torso?
Okay, so if you have your arms in front of you right now.
Okay, any particular...
No, just stick your arms out in front of you.
Okay.
Now bend your elbows and have your hands pointing upwards.
Yes.
Okay. The idea is, if the fox is something that I can look at, the way I see it, the head would be up and tail would be down. But with your arms resting downwards by your sides, that would make the fox upside down. So if the head is pointing downwards, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, but because it'd be something for me to look at, and when I look at my arms, I'm going to have my arms in front of me, right? That would say
Yeah.
that would mean that the fox for head would need to be at the wrist end, not the like. It's for me to look at, it's for me to get enjoyment from seeing, not for everyone else to get enjoyment from seeing. So the way I see it, head goes at wrist end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But apparently that's upside down, and there'll be people telling me that it's upside down for the rest of my life. Apparently,
It's sort of the dark mark problem, isn't it? Which way does the scar? Which way does the dark mark face?
I don't know.
I can never remember.
Google it.
I feel like it should be towards you, right?
I feel like it should, but you know, it depends on what it is. If it's for someone else to see, have it facing so it's
Well, you
right
think the
for them to
dark
see.
mark is for somebody else to see? Yeah, it faces outwards.
If it's for you to see, have it facing inwards. That's the way I see it. And the fox for me would be facing inwards because it's for me to look at, not for everyone else to look at.
It faces outwards. Which I think feels wrong, but I understand why, because you're showing it to your fellows, aren't you?
Yeah.
To signify that you are part of the club.
Hmm.
I wouldn't get a dark mark, which is a shame because it looks pretty dope.
Because of the whole trans rights thing and the argument with J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a,
Yeah.
you know, a bit of a
It just
twat.
it just feels a bit like
Holy shit!
what?
Hamilton's overtaken Verstappen.
What a bastard!
That's not happened since 2021.
Oh, I'm witnessing history.
He's only half a second ahead, but that is a half a second. You know what it'll be? Hamilton's got a tyre delta on Verstappen. He pitted after Verstappen did, so his tyres are fresher. Not much fresher, mind, but fresher. And DRS would have helped, and yeah, that's why he's pulling ahead. Max's tyres are probably dropping off. He should have pitted a lap or two later. See, ours are dying to level off, drop off, and we're on the hard tyres, and we pit after him, so, you know. He's on a softer compound than us. All in all, this has been a quite successful race.
Good. I'm glad.
We're half a minute ahead of our teammate. We're 22 seconds ahead of the Twink.
Why'd you go to Whole Beach?
Because that's where her tattooist was.
Okay, so she knows him and she trusts him, and
Yeah. He did have a
it
place.
saves you having. Yeah.
He had a place in this town, but he's moved. He's got his own place.
Oh right, I see.
He was in a place that someone else was like. He was like renting a seat or whatever, like hairdressers do. And then he got his own place, and now he's moving to a different own place because everyone that he was in the place he was in, it was like a beauty place that did tattoos in the back. Which sounds weird, but like it's a bunch of people that do all sorts of beauty and health stuff, and also tattoos. But everyone else has left it, so he's getting his own place where he doesn't have to rely on anyone else. He's actually looking for an apprentice. Well, not an apprentice, but someone to take on to help out with the stuff, so he can maybe sit back and stop in years to come. But yeah,
Maybe I could be an apprentice.
I can't draw, so I ain't gonna do it.
No, I can't. I don't mind the idea of stabbing people.
Well,
That sounds fun.
they might bleed
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
because that's a thing.
What?
That's a thing. I didn't realise was a thing that can happen whilst you're getting tattooed. Is that you could end up bleeding.
Makes sense.
It does make sense, but I never really considered it. But then again, I had a shave with a cutthroat razor.
You finally hit the bullet then, did you?
I did it. I had a go over the weekend as well. I did that on Saturday, I think it was. And I only cut myself 3 times, and I barely bled, and I couldn't even find the biggest of the 3 cuts today whilst looking in the mirror. So, you know, clearly, I can't be killed because I don't bleed enough. Eat your heart out, Arnie.
I shaved my head again yesterday.
How did you do that? What with? I assume not
just
a cutthroat razor.
No, a cheap disposable razor.
Yeah. I'd probably
It's
miss
fine.
it if I did it with a cut through it.
It grows back so quickly.
Well, that's what hair does, isn't it?
I know. I just wish more of it was growing back. I wouldn't have to shave my head. Although I prefer it this way, to be honest. I do look better. I'm not particularly photogenic, but when I look at myself in the bathroom mirror in the morning in this lovely navy blue hoodie my mummy bought me for Christmas, I look bloody great.
Yeah.
And I don't mind telling you. That's one item of clothing I look great, and I just have to wear that every
Everywhere.
day for the rest of my life.
Yeah, see, I don't think I look bad as a Danish fisherman, but
No, you don't.
I did actually, for a very brief period of time, question whether A, that should be my Halloween outfit. Like, get some waterproof trousers or something and be a
You
Danish
go as
fisherman.
Willem Dafoe from The Lighthouse.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of look.
Mm.
Oh, Pierre Gasly's off. Oh, okay. Oh, good, because it's the last lap. Let us race.
Yeah, fucking have it, boy.
We haven't even got a whole lap to go. We've got, like, end of this straight, a slight chicane, and then another straight. It'd be really bad if I crashed it now, wouldn't it? I just want to point out, other than the qualification, which I can justify because of the realistic standards that they would have during the actual thing, we didn't restart any of this. We didn't zoom back. We didn't anything.
Eat.
That was a full-on, legit race. See, that was less patronising, wasn't it?
Mm. Yeah, well, a bit.
Yeah. So. Thank you, Natalie Pinkham. Did we see who was driving for the day? I wasn't looking. Probably
It was
wasn't.
you.
It might not have been me.
Well,
Look at
it was
that.
to me.
Look at that. We got 11 points more than our competitor.
You look so fucking generic.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
Mm.
What's the standings? We're 31 points ahead of him. 31.
Yeah.
And we're 75 ahead of our teammate. That's 3 whole races, Ben.
We're beating the shit out of Lance Stroll.
Where is he? Fucking hell. He's useless, that man. He's doing better than he did in real life as well. What does that tell you?
Well,
That
let
tells
him
you,
have fun.
that tells you how shit he is, doesn't it?
Mm.
Well. Oh, I think it'll give us the... Oh, no. The thingamajig. Where's the... We can see just how much we're kicking his ass, actually. Oh, we beat him. He's no longer our rival. Because we kicked his ass.
Too hard. There's no competition anymore.
What I'm
There's no
interested.
sport in
What
it.
I'm interested in is how long is our. No, it's this one. No, our contract is going to be up soon. Yeah, our contract expires in 21 days.
Oh.
We. Yeah, 21 days. I wonder what that means in terms of. What's the date today? 29. That next race. Oh no, hang on. Where's the calendar? Have we got a calendar available anywhere? No, I don't know where the calendar is to. See, that's not bad, is it? Four first places, 2 second places, a
You
third,
really fucked up Monaco to me.
and the only 2 that we didn't finish were street circuits. The only 2 that we didn't do like podium were street circuits. Now and I've always said street circuits are my weakness.
Yeah.
And
No,
the only
this is good because I can actually see what's coming up.
yeah, so we got Austria and then Silverstone.
Yeah. Belgium, Netherlands, Monza. Where's Monza?
Italy. We have 2 Italy.
Singapore, Japan, Qatar, Texas.
On there, the only street circuits that we have left are Singapore and Las Vegas.
Right.
But Las Vegas is quite a wide open one. I've never actually driven there, and Singapore is quite tight, but it's different. Singapore's a bit more like Jeddah. Jeddah's a street circuit, but we did all right there. So
Well, I for one look forward to seeing us in Spielberg
in
on
Austria,
Spielberg.
yes.
Yeah.
I want to see how many when the races are. There should be a calendar somewhere, but it won't seem to. No, I don't know. We'll find out. There could only be 3 races left before I get fired.
Why would you get fired?
Well, if I don't think I'm good enough, but they'd have to be stupid to fire me, wouldn't they? Let's be honest.
What would happen if you did get fired? Would the game end, or do you just join another team?
Well, if another team will have me, I might get team offers. Other teams might offer to hire me. At that point, I mean, because we know, or maybe they might extend my contract to the end of the year, and then we see what happens with. Oh, we can change what our person looks like. Would you like to change our person quick?
No.
Okay, cool. All right then. Anyway, yeah, we'll stop then. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for this hour-long video.
Mm.
Goodbye.
Bye.